Very good question. Back in 1980, I attended Judy Chicago's dinner party, which, by the way, is in our own museum, and what is it, the Sackler Feminist Wing, I think it's called. Yes. So anybody can go and see it and be inspired the same way I was. And I saw it in Chicago. And I bought the catalog, and I was just reading through the catalog. And those of you who aren't familiar, this is a huge installation with 30 place, I think it's 30 or 33 place settings, 30 I think, place settings. And each of the place settings represents a woman or a goddess, kind of stuff. And it goes through, several generations. And Hypatia has her own plate. So she has her own plate, and her story was in this book. And I read her story, and it was rather brief. It just said, she was a famous mathematician, philosopher. She believed in the goddesses, which, by the way, wasn't true. She believed in the goddesses, and because of that, she was murdered. Okay, and I went, oh my God, a woman believing in goddesses, and they murdered her for that? That's horrible. I got to know more about this person. So I started gathering stuff as much as I can, and studying over the years and years and years. And started writing because I wanted to write Hypatia's story. So I joined a writer's group, learned how to write, took classes, did all this sort of stuff. And there was just so much crap out there about Hypatia. I mean, pick a group and they claimed her as their own martyr. I mean, it was kind of like scientists. Yes, she was a woman scientist, and they killed her because she was a scientist. Okay, the Christian religious group killed her because she was a scientist. The feminists, they killed her because she was a woman. Okay, the pagans, they killed her because she was a pagan. So any group would pick her up and say she's our martyr. And everybody's entitled to their own martyrs. So there's a lot of stuff out there, and I was despairing, quite frankly, of ever trying to cut through all the BS, because it's difficult. I'm not a classic scholar. I couldn't read the stuff in the original, and the very little bit we had was so there was just like so many different interpretations of it. And in 1995, Professor Zelska came out with this thin little book, Harvard Press, and I read through it. And the first part of the book, she actually goes through like all the literary stuff. Like, how did Hypatia show up in literature, plays, poems, stuff like that? And I went, yes, that's all the crap I've been reading. And then she spends the next couple chapters telling us what we do know about her, what we might surmise about her based on evidence and whatever. So the book, the story that she tells in this nonfiction book is a story I tell in my fiction one.